All right, today we're going somewhere different, way up north to a Norwegian archipelago called Svalbard. It's a land of ice, more polar bears than people, and some of the most unbelievable rules you'll ever hear. So, let's dive right in and explore what makes this place so unique. Just think about that for a second. A place where dying is literally forbidden by law. And no, this isn't the plot of some sci-fi movie. It's a real-world policy in a very real, very cold place. But trust me, that's just the tip of the iceberg. First off, try to wrap your head around this. For 4 months, every single winter, the sun just doesn't rise at all. It's a period they call the polar night, where midday looks exactly like midnight. It's a profound and, I'm sure, challenging reality for the few thousand people who actually call this place home. And if you decide you want to step outside the main settlement, you can't just grab your coat and go. Nope. You are legally required to carry a rifle. Why? Well, because on Svalbard, there are more polar bears than people, and you absolutely have to be prepared for an encounter. And that brings us right back to the most bizarre rule of them all. Yep, you heard that right the first time. Dying is forbidden. It is an official, enforced law. So the big question is, how on earth can you outlaw a biological certainty? Well, the answer is actually buried in the island's frozen ground. So let's really unpack this unbelievable law. It's a story that's this incredible mix of history, science, and the sheer raw power of nature. The story really kicks off back in the early 20th century, when Svalbard was this rugged, tough-as-nails coal mining outpost. Then, in 1950, officials passed a very strange law: no more burials on the island. Period. It wasn't for any spiritual reason, but for a startlingly practical and scientific one that's still in effect to this day. The reason for this law all comes down to the one thing that defines Svalbard's very existence: the extreme, unrelenting cold. You see, the whole island is built on something called permafrost, which means the ground is permanently frozen solid. Decades ago, the islanders discovered a pretty grim fact. Bodies buried in the local cemetery just weren't decomposing. They were being perfectly preserved by the ice, which created this scary risk of trapping and maybe one day releasing old viruses. So, what does this actually mean in practice? Well, if someone becomes terminally ill, they can't stay. The small hospital there is only for emergencies, so the patient is flown to the Norwegian mainland for their final days. That's where arrangements for burial or cremation are made, in a place where nature can follow its normal course. But here's the amazing twist. That same unique, freezing environment that makes Svalbard an impossible final resting place for humans also makes it the perfect sanctuary for something else: the future of all humanity. Deep inside a mountain on Svalbard, there's one of the most important buildings in the entire world, the Global Seed Vault. It's been called a lot of things, but maybe the most accurate description is humanity's ultimate backup plan. The sheer scale of this project is just astounding. The vault holds over 1 million distinct seed varieties from every single corner of the globe. It's basically a modern-day Noah's Ark, but for plants, safeguarding our planet's agricultural diversity. And this vault is a true fortress. It's built to withstand almost anything you can imagine: earthquakes, bomb blasts, even major global catastrophes like nuclear war. The goal is simple. If the absolute worst happens, the seeds inside could allow humanity to restart agriculture and rebuild from scratch. So you have this incredible contrast, right? A place where an individual human life cannot end, but the future of all human life is being preserved. This whole paradox shapes every single aspect of what it's like to live there. So let's take a closer look at what daily life is really like. Life in Svalbard is just governed by a completely different set of rules. As we've learned, you can't die there, but you also can't really be born there, since the hospital isn't equipped for it. Want a pet cat? Sorry, they're forbidden to protect the local bird populations. And like we talked about, something as simple as going for a walk outside of town requires carrying a rifle. It is a life totally governed by the unforgiving rules of the high Arctic. But, for all its harshness, there is an incredible beauty to it all. Residents have to live through months of the polar night, sure, but they're also treated to these spectacular displays of the aurora borealis, the northern lights just dancing across that endless dark sky. So what can we take away from this remote corner of the world? What does a place like Svalbard ultimately teach us? At the end of the day, Svalbard is this powerful reminder of nature's immense power and humanity's incredible ability to adapt. It's a place where people are forced to live by nature's rules, not their own, and that creates a society that is somehow both fragile and incredibly resilient at the exact same time. And so that leaves us with one final question to think about. After hearing about the darkness, the danger, the strange rules, but also the profound beauty and the global importance of this place, if you had the chance, would you choose to live on this silent island at the top of the world?